We're now looking, please Harry, join me. We're going to connect to Austin, Texas. It's very exciting. I hope we have him online talking to Hugh Forrest, the director of Interactive Festival for South by Southwest, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the upcoming event, which is in mid-March, and their programming, what they've seen. It's on a rise, and just a little to tell us a little bit what they have sort of for those people that want to see it and want to go there and want to engage in their community. Well, thank you very much for plugging in to Pause Fest. We are very grateful for that. I know you were super busy, so taking any minute off from what you're doing right now, it's a really big deal. So thanks for plugging in, and we are all here waiting to hear what's happening in South by Southwest 2017. What can we expect? Can you share something with us?
Well, good afternoon from Austin. Good morning to our friends in the Southern Hemisphere. I certainly wish I was there in person, but excited to be participating from a virtual perspective. Congrats to you and your staff on what looks to be a fantastic program. And again, very honored to be part of that. So we are 30 days away, 29 days away from the start of South by Southwest, which occurs March 10th through 19th in Austin. We've got a lot of stuff left to do, but we're pretty far along and feeling pretty good. I wanted to touch briefly for your audience on 5 of the trends that we think will be biggest in March in Austin, and I think that's could be interesting in terms of what you guys have been talking about at Pause Fest over the last or yesterday and today. So without further ado, then my 5 things that I think will dominate a lot of the conversation, a lot of the headlines, a lot of the dialogue out of South by Southwest in March are as follows. First and foremost, AI, artificial intelligence. It is certainly a dominant theme throughout the 1,000+ panels and presentations we will have at the 2017 event. People are very, very excited about the possibilities here. People are also, I think, very, very concerned about the possibilities here. And we certainly saw that some of that concern manifest itself in terms of the results from November 8th, with concerns of an AI future where more and more automation occurs, where more and more of our current jobs are absorbed by robots, and how that looks in the future, that type of thing. So again, lots of AI conversation at South by Southwest next month. We have a track that is mainly focused on artificial intelligence, but again, it'll be a theme that runs throughout. Another big theme for next month is mobility. We're seeing a ton of stuff on next generation mobility, self-driving cars, autonomous cars, cars that are more equipped with Internet of Things, alternatively fueled vehicles. So that was a big push at South by Southwest 2016, even more so at the 2017 event. We've got the CEO of Mercedes talking about what they're doing. We've got Bill Ford from the Ford family talking about what Ford is doing in the future. We've also got Denise Warrior from Next EV talking about their electric vehicles. So again, a lot of push on that. And that certainly combines the next generation vehicles, ties in well with AI, since so much of what is powering these things are AI-based systems. A third trend that we see as emerging very strongly for the 2017 event is health and medtech. We're very excited about one of our keynote speakers, which is this woman, Jennifer Doudna, who is the co-founder, co-inventor of this new gene splicing technology called CRISPR. This is a technology that in the near future will give us a lot more ability to, again, edit our own genes or edit genes in much the same way we currently edit code. So it has a lot of possibilities and, again, a lot of scary potential as well. But it's fascinating the work she's doing, and we're really excited about her keynote, and that highlights a lot more health and med tech related content at South by Southwest, and certainly interesting how much that health stuff intersects with various other things we see at the event. More wearable technology, and so much of that wearable stuff harkens back to health and med tech. There's also, certainly this idea that as we have more autonomous vehicles, that our vehicles will become centers of next generation health. That sitting in the car seat will have sensors that will broadcast our current health readings to doctors, hospitals, that type of thing. The fourth trend that we see at South by Southwest 2017, and certainly ties back to what I talked about initially, is much more policy-related content and much more politics. We have done lots of policy stuff at South by Southwest over the last 2 decades, much more so in the last 5 years as we've had more policy people coming to talk to the startups at South by Southwest. This peaked last March when President Obama spoke at South by Southwest and talked about how the tech community needs to give back, how this idea of 21st century community activism. We do not have President Obama at the 2017 event. What we do have is 2 days of panels that are focused on tech under Trump. And these are, there'll be about 18 total sessions that talk about the positive and negative impacts of the new policies that the new administration will bring in, whether that's related to immigration, or whether how their policies will impact these self-driving cars, how the media is changing under the Trump administration, how this will change the startup scene, how VR will change under Trump. I mean, we've had in the U.S. and on a world stage, we've had one leader for the last 8 years. That leadership has certainly changed, and a lot of people want to understand how that will impact the tech industry. And then I think leads into my final big trend for South by Southwest 2017. That is a new track that we added last summer, and we didn't really know that it was going to be as relevant as it turned out to be. But this new track is journalism, and we are certainly seeing a complete rewrite of the rules of journalism, the rules of media over the last 6 months. We know that this concept of fake news, however you want to phrase that, played a huge role in the 2018, the November 8th election results. And we have seen with the new administration coming into power that they really don't have too much respect for media profession. So again, journalism in the U.S. and I think around the world is in a period of tremendous change, and this will be something that we'll focus on a lot at South by Southwest. And there's an interesting story from Nick Bilton in Vanity Fair, I think about a month ago, about how fake news will quickly spread, and we've already seen some of this to where there's fake video editing where we'll have people saying things that they didn't really say. They're fake sound editing. So again, the digital technologies that give us so much, that change our lives in so many positive ways. There are lots of implications that may not be so positive. And again, that we'll talk a lot about that in that journalism track. So again, it's a very different landscape. in the U.S. and at South by Southwest for March 2017. We're excited about a lot of the content, but again, as much optimism and inspiration as an event like South by Southwest brings, I think there's a little bit of a different feel to it this year.
Yeah, last year I was there. I'll be there in a few weeks. But last year I've heard one of the speakers from Wired magazine. He said that first his opening sort of words were, in the future you'll have everything sort of multiplied by AI. So if you can imagine all the startups, all the new companies that will kind of happen in the future. So imagine everything that could be sort of that could use AI, it will happen. And it seems like that it's already happening at South by. Again, this year we're going to hear a lot about AI, and we're going to hear a lot about mobility. It feels like the future is already here. And politics and journalism, it's a really interesting combination. What do you think, Harry?
It feels a little unstable to me, frankly. I think we're messing with the rules that hold our world together in a stable way. And when we sort of tear away that foundation of truth, which seems to have been eroded or destroyed, frankly, over the last year, and then you take away that foundation of the value of each individual and their ability to contribute to society and replace that with automation, then pretty quickly people begin to lose their grip on the world, and it feels to me as if we're beginning to slide, frankly. So I'm going to be at South by. I look forward to seeing you there, and I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion. It's time for us to get to grip with what's going on, and look not just for technology solutions, but political solutions too.
Yeah. It looks like we are...
Well,
you go.
Sorry, George, just to add, I think what's fascinating about this is, and maybe fascinating is the wrong word, but the tech industry has celebrated disruption for the last decade. And we have the ultimate disruption now. We have the person who understands how to use Twitter better than anyone else in the whole world. So, I often say to my employees, my staff, my friends, careful what you wish for, because it may just happen. And, so much of what we see in Washington, D.C. now is again, kind of all these things we've talked about, celebrated for the last several years to their nth degree. And it's fascinating, but also, and pretty concerning, right?
Yeah, definitely. It feels we are some sort of transition to another sort of state, but questioning everything. And it, as you said, it's kind of a little bit unstable because we just don't know what we're playing with.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure this one out.
Yeah, as we go, with everyone together, collectively.
And as we're seeing real time, in that process, some people's lives are being hurt. And so, I think we all want to do whatever we can as individuals and as organizations to help those that are being hurt in the disruption.
Yeah, and just try to overcome that.
Yeah.
One question to ask you, something that some of the themes that were significant here with us, and I know it resonated with you last year, and your interview for the magazine that we've done was around the diversity. And are you guys going to be covering some of those topics again this year, or what's happening in that sort of segment of the programming with you?
Yeah, still a very strong push for more diversity in the tech sector and in the many other sectors that operate South by Southwest. I will say, in the context of these other challenges we're facing, diversity has a whole different spin to it this year than did a year ago. It's something we obviously need to continue to push, but again, in the U.S., November 8th, was a strong wake-up call that, we thought we were on the last mile of diversity. We aren't even close to the last mile of diversity. There's such a big gap between people who are involved in the tech industry and who are lucky enough to be haves and not feel completely left out in this industry. So again, in many ways, that whole diversity question becomes much, much more relevant and much, much more encompassing when you think about the large gaps break.
Do you have a question for Hugh?
Putting aside the current disruption, what are you most excited that's going to be super positive and not scary that we can look forward to at South by this year?
Share happiness.
There will be lots of exciting and happy and inspirational things at South by Southwest this year. One of the speakers that I am most excited about is someone we just announced this week, Cory Booker, who is a senator from New Jersey. He was the Speaker of the Year at South by Southwest 3 years ago. He's someone who's being talked about as a presidential candidate for 2020. Who knows if that happens? He has a very interesting relationship with social media and a very, very inspirational speaker. So really excited about that. I kind of took back to politics there. But sorry, politics is what we're thinking about 24/7 over here.
Fantastic. Last year, you guys had a lot of experiences, a lot of VR. I know you introduced the VR AR track last year, and that was pretty much everywhere. Is there a lot of VR this year as well?
A lot of VR this year, but from my perspective, and interested to hear what you think on this, George, I mean, I think that the VR buzz has calmed down a little bit, and part of that is it just got so much hype last year at South by Southwest and at various other events. And I think that hype is always really, really difficult to live up to. There continues to be a challenge of having the appropriate content for these VR, the VR hardware. There's also still the challenge that you're for most of these systems you're tethered to some kind of tethered to the ground, so to speak. So I think there will be a lot of VR stuff at this year's event. I don't think it will have quite the impact that it did a year ago.
Yeah, like you can take so many roller coaster rides, right? Well,
everyone loves roller coasters.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I'm really looking forward to going to Austin again. Thank you so much for plugging in again, taking some time off from, it's like only 4 weeks away, and I can imagine you guys hosting a monster festival. And yeah, again, thank you so much for plugging into Melbourne and sharing some of the trends that we can see this year at South by Southwest 2017, and some of us going to experience today. At the end of the day, we're closing PausVest with the South by Southwest meetup. Phil Tripp will be here, might be in the audience, and yeah, we're going to celebrate. Thanks a lot.
Good. Well, it's been a huge honor to help kick off today's activities. Again, wish I could be there in person. Welcome everyone from your audience to trek on over to the U.S. in March. It'll be another fascinating event. Lots of great opportunities to learn, lots of great opportunities to make new connections. which is what you guys are doing there now. Again, thanks for the invite. Hope to be there in person one of these times, okay?
Exactly. It's what I really love about the South by is that you really meet a lot of people waiting in a line at any point given the time. You know, you just meet a lot of diverse people from all parts of the world. It's just really amazing.
Wonderful. All right. Well, have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you in a month in Austin, George. Okay?
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.